one person at this table thinks Monday's loss to the Sixers means a lot more than the other three. And if you are a fan of this show, I bet you can guess what person that is.
Illegal screen.
This is Basketball Island. Hein, Hambone, Wes, Fab. Raptors coming off the baseball series with Philly. Looked great. Showed a lot of heart in that first win to come from behind. And complete no-show in the second one. Personally, I'm calling it a schedule loss. But you think otherwise.
Toughness can't be inconsistent. So, to me, why that loss stung a little extra was you got Philly. Like, Philly had that game one. They had it. They were up 4 seconds left. Raptors came back, showed a lot of moxie, kept their challenges for the end of the game, which is a very nice thing to do. And they pulled it out.
But also, too, in overtime, where it looked like Philly was also going to run away with it, they showed that heart and stayed consistent and battled back.
They showed a lot of heart. And then the next game, Philly came out, and Kyle Lowry mentioned it post-game. We'll get to him in a moment, too. But they came out with extra focus, and they bludgeoned the Raptors. And I thought there was a lack of fight. Like, Elijah Martin, Jamal Shed can't be the toughest guys on your team. They're also the smallest and the youngest. When Tyrese Maxey's kind of hitting shots and laughing at you, pointing at the bench, and you're down 25-30, I mean, I do this in House League. It's a professional... You've
also been banned from House League. So, what you do versus what other people would do.
I think you have citations for Hoopdome, right?
Yeah. Fair point. But, to me, it's just
the refs at Hoopdome are just in the comments right now.
Your photos, on the entrance of the place.
Those guys, man. All I'm saying is just all right, for me, when I look at, toughness, we're talking about Kyle Lowry era teams.
Oh, so I'm just a note. We will get to Lowry later in the show. Obviously, last game in Toronto.
Kyle would put you on your ass. Serge Ibaka would put you on your ass. And it's not even just malicious intent. It's just if guys pointing, laughing, smiling at you, coming down the lane, just put him on the ground, put your hand up. That's my foul. There's got to be a level of pride. The team has shown a lot of fight in games. But to me, when a team has tape on you, and next game they come out in your barn and destroy you like they did 81% from the field for most of the first half.
Well, hold on, but it was in the second quarter. I think at one point to get up 23. They were 9 of 11 from 3, and these were wide open looks.
That to me is just so. Again, and for me, that is a team that you're going to likely, or maybe at some point, face in the playoffs, or a quality, a caliber of that team. I think they outclassed the Raptors, and I'm disappointed in the fight.
Fab, I'll let you get to this, but I also think there's a time to point out there's a bit of a generational thing. You see players at the end of a game in a blowout still going up for layups.
AAU culture.
Yeah, right? When guys are just still throwing layups out there. There's times that'd be a fight in past generations.
Now they don't care because they're all buddies. Honestly, I was joking, but it is kind of AAU culture.
So I do agree with you, man. It's what type of team? What's the identity of this one? You can kind of see bits and pieces of what you might not want them to be.
I'm not saying take someone out and hurt them. I'm not saying that.
I'm pretty sure that was exactly what you were saying.
For the record, I did not say that. I'm just saying that if Tyrese Maxey, great player. I love the joy that he plays with. But he's doing that to you, pointing at you. I know Elijah Martin got under your skin the game before.
Wasn't that just... I looked at that because Elijah Martin was who was defending him when he did that. I looked at it as that's his revenge for what Elijah Martin did the night before.
But he's a rookie. Yeah. And he's getting punked. And to me, it's just someone's got to step up. Him and Embiid had technical fouls. At some point when you're getting beat down like that, I think everyone knows what you're trying to do, but just keep it within the bounds of the game, but put someone on the floor.
I mean, I came into last night just expecting a Raptors loss because of how much energy they exerted, already being shorthanded the night before. So I was kind of happy with the win. Your complaints are valid. They didn't show a ton of fight, especially early. Philly was hitting everything, a lot of mistakes defensively. But newsflash, Philly fully healthy is a better team than you without 2 starters. And I get what you're saying, play a little tougher. But Philly came out shooting lights out. The night before, they hit more threes in the first quarter than they did all of the game before. I mean, they kind of just flattened you right away, and it was kind of done. And I know they probably should have played a little tougher, but they didn't quit in the second half. Yeah, I know it was out of hand, but Jamal Shed was taking charges down 20 in the third. So it's not like they completely mailed it in, but this is just a byproduct of you don't have a center against Joel Embiid. You know how many times they had to double him just because of how worried they were about his size? And then everyone's in rotation, and everyone's getting hot. that's a product of like a roster construction thing that we talked about. Murray Boyles maybe being a full-time center. Like, I think that works in doses, but when you run into these behemoths like Embiid, you just have no chance.
I agree they are ill-equipped to match up to Philly, but I wanted to see a little more gumption.
Understood.
Of course.
Hold on. To Fab's point, I think we take for granted the 82-game season, and like you said, you get steamrolled in the first like that, on the second of a back-to-back, where you go to overtime and you use all of that both mental and physical energy in the comeback. It's normal for NBA players to kind of be like, we don't have it tonight.
First of all, you don't know what's normal for NBA players, first of all.
We've
Second
seen
of
it,
all,
buddy.
You're making excuses.
No, Hambone, look across the league. How many times do you see that? Teams will do that. Like,
let me ask you a question. Was that not just more a product of Philly was insanely hot? Like the shot making early, I think they just kind of flatlined the Raps right out of the gate, right?
Like my point I was going to add to the game is just like, look, some night, you make or miss league. We've seen that. I get what you mean about in terms of the fight, the toughness. That part's fine. You want to build identity, especially on a young team. But in terms of the results of that game, like Tyrese Maxey hit like 10 out of 10 degree difficulty shot after shot.
Sure.
VJ hit shots you just don't expect him to hit some of those pop-up threes. He goes 5 of 6. They combine for 11 of 15 from 3. My point I'm trying to say is like, I get you want to see, like, there's ways to lose. Right? That's what we're trying to say. There's ways you lose.
Yes.
There's an identity in how you handle defeat. My point with their game result, Philly is without a doubt a completely different tier of scoring team and offense that the Raptors in no circumstance will ever be as good as this version of Philly when it comes to offense.
And I'm giving you that. And I agree. Like it is, I'm not advocating
but they showed fight in the third and fourth. They showed a little bit
the
of
game
fight.
was over.
I know it was over, but still,
reach.
like,
the game was out of reach. I'm not saying that teams can't come in and beat you.
For sure.
That is different than the way it happens.
I'm with you
and
there.
to me, it's just like you got steamrolled out the gate, and they were like this very, very reminiscent. I know it's different, completely different teams. This is Game 6, 2021, second half. Philly in Toronto came out in that half and just bludgeoned the Raptors.
Yeah.
Philly out-talented, outshot them, outplayed them. Just it was complete difference in class when Philly came out with a fully healthy roster. But the point I want to make again is, like, in the bigger picture, where is Jakob Poeltl? Is he going to be available this season? Apparently, he's feeling discomfort still. At a certain point, okay, now this is all like the Raptors are a team I think we'd be happy with making the first round. Having a scrappy first round. I think, is that a realistic expectation?
Honestly, making the second round, like, we can kind of bring the odds up here. I think it was like plus 360 for them to make the Eastern Conference semis, which is a pretty big number. That's just win one playoff series.
Yeah, so my point is I don't think they should be chasing, like, I don't think this is a team anyone expects to make a deep run in the East, but you need to give yourself a chance with a center at some point in these types of matchups. And where is Poeltl? Is he close? Like, we're talking going on a month now?
I don't mean to be negative about it because they have been playing very well. Colin Murray Boyles, like, come on,
the emergence has been amazing.
Oh my goodness! And I think you reeled them off last pod. The defensive numbers with him and Barnes, and then you add Shed to that mix on the floor. Like, there are a lot of positives, but I can't help but think about the playoffs. I can't help but project forward. That's just how, I guess, my brain works. And it's just, when a team plans for you, like, these aren't the Atlanta Hawks, you know what I'm saying, where the Raptors seem to have their number, they match up well. Philly came in with focus, and they punched, and they laughed, and they pointed.
Hold on, I got a question, though. What's more of a snapshot of who the Raptors truly are? What we saw Sunday night and showing that grit to come back not once but twice and win that game? Or the team we saw the next night, which for me, schedule loss, when you're missing starters and you kind of just rolled over. Because I like to focus more on that first game of, like, in a game where both teams are going hard like that, they showed their true mettle. Whereas the next night, it's like, you know what? We just won an OT. We're missing guys. Take the foot off the gas.
The politically correct answer is somewhere in between. I do think that when you go up against, I think Wes mentioned this, when you go up against a team that's more talented and they work harder and they're more focused, Raptors going to run into a problem. And then that goes into, all right, then you better match up against teams that have centers, because I feel bad for CMB. Like, you can't put him in defending Joel Embiid.
No, you can't. You just can't. And look at the rest of the East. If you do run into New York has Towns, Detroit's got bigs. You have to equip them to give them a chance. I think that's the only point I'm trying to make here. So figure out what's up with Poeltl. Is he going to remain healthy for the rest of the year when he comes back? Is he just damaged to the point where we can't rely on him?
Doesn't it seem like we're going to be dealing with this thing exactly as we have been all year? Like, backs are finicky. He might feel great for 2 weeks, and then he just wakes up one morning and it's kind of messed. The positive of this is the emergence of CMB with these extra minutes, and we're kind of really seeing the vision with the draft pick and how good he looks.
I want to go one further with the positive. The reason why I don't feel too negative about this game, it's a perfect tie-in to have Kyle Lowry there these last 2 nights. Yeah. You talk about leadership. The epitome of what Kyle brought to the table. He wasn't the best player. Kawhi was the best player. We all know that. But Kyle was the absolute, no questions asked leader of that team. Why is Elijah Mitchell, Martin, why is Jamal Shed why are they kind of the leaders on the floor in terms of like hustle and like effort? I get it. They're the young guys. It shouldn't be that way. I look at it as a positive. You brought these 2 second-round guys in, very accomplished careers. Like, Hambone, you know I was going to do this, okay? I was down there in San Antonio for March Madness.
Where's the foam finger?
Yeah, okay? Get the foam finger. I watched Martin. Him and Walter Clayton were the leaders of that team, okay? Like, big time, okay? I heard the chants.
We're chopping.
My point I'm trying to say is, second round, how often are you going to get, like, slam dunk, talented scorers, like 30-point-a-night guys? You'll never get a Tyrese Maxey in the second round. But those are the type of guys that you bring in the second round who can, like, make an impact on defense, make an impact on the culture. I'm encouraged. Now, those are the last 2 guys who got drafted in the second round. Well, Mobile also. But Martin's gotten a lot of flack, right? Oh, why don't we draft a center?
Yeah, I've said that.
Guess what? Martin, bad fit for the team, but you're seeing...
But good player, yeah.
He's a good player.
I don't know. We'll see, man. How many games has he played?
No, but what I'm saying, okay, so what are your other options? All you had was Maxime.
Sure, but that's a big who's actually playing well in the West right now. So I mean, for a team that's starved for big men, I don't know. There's a positional redundancy thing.
No, for sure, I agree with you. My point I'm trying to say is the player himself, you're seeing it. This is like a guy I think you want that type of identity on your team, especially deep on the bench.
He's a dog. Listen, I love his mentality.
I like
his
him
mentality's great, man. He's a 6'2" power forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just love something the way you love undersized guards.
Yeah, man. Hundo P, man. Yeah, I love those 2, man. They're great.
So Leo Rounds and I,
big fan.
we get into these arguments too, because I think he's on team. Why didn't you draft a big? I think at the draft you're going best player available, and you're just
especially in the second round.
Yeah.
Especially in the second round.
Just draft dogs. I think to me an interesting conversation, which we can take off that, is Elijah Martin probably deserves some minutes just based alone on his tenacity and rebounding.
Oh yeah, man.
Man, you want to talk? Let's talk a little Gradey Dick. He has been.
Do we have to?
We do because listen, he's extension eligible in the summer. That's not happening.
No.
You drafted him in the first round. He's like, I don't think he's earning the minutes right now, and it's not so much his offense. I don't even care that he's missing shots. Like that's fine. You know.
I do. It's because that's what you need to do to be a player in this league.
I disagree.
His threes. They look like they have no chance when he's putting them up.
If you can play defense, I can be content with Grady's in between.
But if you can't, you need to be hitting
exactly.
shots.
So defense to me is the biggest issue with Gradey. And yes, the shot is what made him passable on the floor. But if you're getting absolutely destroyed on that end, I would like to see more Elijah Martin. I'd like to see more of these 2-point guard lineups.
It's bad timing with the Jakob Poeltl injury, right? Like
at least he plays D.
That's the thing, and like we can. I don't know. Walter's starting to really grow on me, and I feel like that is give him all of the minutes and be like, Gradey, take a seat for 2 weeks when Jakob Poeltl. I agree. I like having the multiple.
And
point
it sucks.
guards
Like RJ's out again. Like the Raptors were looking good with him in the lineup. Now he sprains his
bucket.
ankle. He's a bucket, man. And his defense has improved too. Like and you clearly the numbers don't lie. Like when he's in the lineup, the Raptors are a better team. So now he's out again, which is rough. But to your point, like you know, Darko's been starting these 2-point guard lineups, something we're very accustomed to here in Toronto. I would like to see Elijah Martin get more time. I do think he brings a tenacity, and I think there's real rotation minute questions. And I can't help but watch Gradey. I feel kind of sorry for him, but Raptors are in a tough bind because he makes a decent amount of money, extension eligible, but when he's on the floor, the plus minus stuff from early in the year is a mirage. Like when he's out there, he's just getting exposed.
The pressure is on him to start to figure it out because you're in year 3. Time is ticking on you, and I understand it might be difficult for him to come in limited spurts sometimes, and there's pressure on him, but like this is the NBA, and you're a first-round pick. Yeah. So cry me a river. You have to produce when you're out there. And there are guys breathing down your neck, but I mean, if you can't figure it out, if you can't be a consistent shooter and you're a mark defensively, what's your future? I don't know. I hate to say that because he's still a young guy. I do think he does play the right way and he does do things the right way. But to me, I think he's going to live and die with if he can be a shooter in this league, because you can't trot him out there at, like, what is he shooting on the year? 30?
So
close to 30?
35% career shooter.
Someone-
But this year is even lower.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just not good enough for him.
Someone had this on Twitter the other day where it was basically his draft year. If you look at his splits from non-conference to conference.
Javon was saying that.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
it is drastic, though, when you look at the numbers, and it's like, were you maybe sold a little bit of fool's gold? Because that was a high pick, man.
Yeah.
And, like, this was supposed to be
Well,
a shooter,
watch
and he's
this.
not a shooter.
I mean, I can pull it up. The counter is, outside of Keontae George, there weren't really like a lot of guys that really popped after that. So it wasn't actually that great of a draft.
Yeah.
The
Beyond
idea,
guys
but the
at the
idea
top.
of Gradey made sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Based on what you needed. It just, he's not really giving you what you thought.
Do you think they maybe knew that after year one with then the Walter pick? Like,
No, I just think they kept. I think
why
they,
would
I think
you
they
draft
wanted,
the
I think they
return?
wanted another wing.
You draft best player available. Like in the draft,
I
the
agree with
team
you.
that's like it's incomplete, you don't know what they are. You just
Just
take
get dudes.
whoever
Just
you
get
think
dudes,
your
yeah.
best player is, and it sucks. Like because I'm a proponent of waiting on Gradey, being a little patient with him. But time is running out. Like time is we're like next year. You question whether you're going to give him the qualifying offer, all this sort of stuff. Like it's literally this half of this year and then next year, but. I'm not so certain that he deserves consistent rotation minutes based on just pedigree and where you were drafted.
Well, if you're talking about specifically Dick, I'm glad that the two guys behind him is Martin and Walter, guys who are outperforming him on the defensive end. Competition breeds greatness for everybody.
Yes.
Rising tides, right?
Yep.
Good. Pick it up on that end.
I want players, and again, this might be selfish of me, but I want players that have the identity of the Raptors teams that we kind of grew up with. I'm not post-DeMar era, right? Like just I love DeMar. He did great things.
yeah,
for the franchise.
RJ fans, if you thought he doesn't like RJ, get him going on DeMar.
Listen, great dude. Made fun of me one time in a scrum. Like I enjoyed what he brought, but playoff time, he was exposed. That's a different story altogether. But like
Hold on,
toughness.
pick up these names you're dropping. I was talking with Leo Routens. DeMar made fun of me in a scrum.
Yo, man. Yep.
You're connected.
We
You're
are
made.
there.
You're a
We are
made
there.
man in
You
the
know
city.
who I am.
You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
We're at 41 games. They're on pace for 48. They're in the top 6 in the East. I don't know how you can really complain about the first half of the season at this point. The product's been good for the most part. Like, if you've been a fan going to most of these games, you've seen some really good ones. It's
Anybody
a
wanna-
good first half.
Anybody want to guess a number? 50 wins. What do you think on FanDuel?
Oh, it's probably like plus 150 right now.
Plus-
man.
No.
plus-
No, sorry, plus 250 right now.
I was gonna say
Plus 300.
plus
Yeah.
410.
So Hambone is actually closest. The Raptors plus 550
Whoa.
to win 50.
Whoa.
I don't think they're gonna win 50, but that seems like a mistake.
Well,
'Cause
they're
I
o-
would have said like plus 350.
Yeah, so
They're
the line
they're
was
over on-
44.5 the other day. I mean, their pace, like you said, is 48, so they're not far off.
Current
Tough
line
schedule.
still 44.5 minus 120 on
Tough
the over.
schedule is coming up, though.
Very tough.
West trip is
West
coming.
trip
They
coming.
need.
Yeah, what
they-
happened the last time we thought a tough schedule was
They-
coming?
you know what? They need to get some bodies back
Yes.
because it's the margin for error, especially when you're playing these teams who are better than you talent wise, is thin. And the two games against Philly encapsulated that perfectly. You squeaked one out against them through hard work, but when cream rose to the top, they blew the doors off you.
Yeah, and to harp on some of the inconsistency, like shout out to Quickly for the buzzer beater against
No
Charlotte.
shout out to Quickly.
But then you watch him and you're just like, oh boy, like he's getting exposed on defense pretty consistently, and I don't know, man, that's a tough one.
So okay, let's talk
yeah.
Lowry because that was emotional. It sucked that after watching the first half, kind of just like maybe slipped the football a little bit before then coming back, and it's like gotta watch the Lowry moment here because that game was awful, but great moment.
The football game?
Both were awful. The football game was terrible too.
Yeah.
But we talked about it in the chat. We're like, is Nurse even gonna give him this moment because
It was a question.
Nicky
If
Nurse,
it wasn't
baby.
if it wasn't a blowout, I don't think he would
no,
have.
I don't think so either.
Right?
No, they need the win.
I love how he came in and started chucking too. This is my favorite.
Everyone wanted it.
Yeah.
And,
Everyone
like,
wanted
What
it.
a beauty,
he
man.
had the
I love him.
moment, and then there was the interview post game and stuff. Like a lot of really cool moments from that.
Looking down at Kyle Lowry. A standing ovation for the greatest Raptor of all time.
Do you have a favorite Lowry moment? I think all of us obviously would look to Game 6, 11 straight points, and just single-handedly one of his best games ever. And also, if you want to relive, last year we actually drafted our favorite moments in Raptors franchise history. So you check that out on YouTube. It's actually a fun episode.
Yeah.
Pretty evergreen. But if you're going to look at a favorite moment outside of Game 6.
Mine's very, I guess, like inside basketball. Actually, it was inside of a bubble. It was Game 6 against the Celtics.
Oh, is this Fab? Fab perfectly on Fab's Insta himself.
Yeah, that's right.
Showed this off.
Like, give shout out to Fab
Yeah.
doing some work on Instagram too.
Yeah, the pass.
Oh, unreal.
No, not the past OG.
I was going to say the past OG.
The fadeaway
Oh,
over
yeah,
Kemba
yeah.
Walker where he slid on the floor and he
Yeah,
did a
yeah.
little glide there. I think he had 40 something in that game. That forced Game 7 against the Celtics. That to me was just like Raptors had no business winning that game. And Kyle just put the team on his back and picked on poor Kemba Walker the entire time.
Probably
It was,
the last great Lowry moment as a Raptor, I would say.
Yeah,
Because then
I
it was the
loved it.
Tampa season after, and he was
To
gone,
your
right?
point in the bubble, though, the pass to OG is
yeah.
insane.
Oh, it's a basketball savant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That extra room on
Yeah,
those
he's like, I'm
sidelines.
going to use this extra room and fire a dart.
Yeah.
My favorite novelty Lowry moment is during the All-Star game when he was just taking charge
Oh, yeah,
on James
yeah.
Harden
That's got
and
it.
just like messing with everyone. That's just like the epitome of who he is. Yeah, how many charges are being taken by this Raptors team these days?
You know what?
right?
The All-Star
Not a
game
lot.
could use more of that.
I know. That's what I'm
Right,
talking
and running
about.
down he was running and pointing. And
So that All-Star, so again, I was there.
Okay, relax.
that's for you
Relax.
guys.
Relax.
What made that one special was, it was after Kobe had passed.
I know.
And it was in Chicago, and Nick Nurse was the coach, and Kyle and Pascal were both on the floor too. And that game had real stakes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Real stakes at the end. I think
Yeah.
I believe it was also the Elam
With
ending.
the Elam ending. It was
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
one with the Elam ending.
Yeah, that was an awesome.
I'm just
moment.
saying.
That's
That's
great.
the
That was so
epitome of what Kyle Lowry
was
is.
amazing.
man.
For me, I think it's the OG pass. I think is my favorite just because of how, as you said, you perfectly demonstrated in your Insta video, Fab, like maybe one of the most iconic Raptors buzzer beaters ever.
Yeah.
My most memorable, and I'm gonna tie in our lovely sponsor FanDuel here. You remember that Heat game?
Oh, the Heat.
Oh,
the
I
buzzer
was
beater?
I was so
course,
me
the
and
Heat was
Mo
a joke.
had the mortgage on the under, and like everything's looking great, and then Kyle Lowry. Oh, I was so mad. Because if you're gonna hit the shot and I'm gonna lose my bet, at
Win the
least
game.
go and win
I
an
know.
OT.
They still lost
You
the game.
hit this shot to force OT just to kill that under, and then you lose. Man, we were so mad that like
You and Dwayne
oh,
Wade both.
you remember the losses, you know?
Way to make it about yourself, bud.
I'm giving. Hey, I was working gambling. This is what this is. This is our personal fan moment when it comes to Kyle Lowry.
Congrats on the self alley-oop too, Fab.
It's a tough one, but I would say a very low key kind of moment for him was when he set up that Kawhi dunk on Giannis in Game 6
Oh, yeah.
because it was so Lowry, just a little shove to Giannis,
yeah.
little sneaky dirty play, and that's who Lowry was.
That's who he was.
He was a little rat, but he was our rat.
Yeah.
Dude.
And that's what I was yearning for. A Monday night against Philly. Just some rat plays. man.
Dude,
Jamal
Jamal
Shed,
Shed had a ton of rat type like sell jobs, and I'm just like, kind of seen that before. You know,
Man,
like
I'll go to sleep dreaming that Jamal Shed can get a consistent 3-point shot.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I don't like how
Of
teams are
course.
going under on those
Yeah.
screens,
Of
and they're kind
course.
of tempting him to
Yeah.
shoot.
But
Please,
dude, look
Shed.
how long it took Lowry to get a consistent
I know.
3-point
I know.
shot. Like
I'm patient here, man. We're
You know,
patient.
Lowry, and you know what? And just a further point, there was a time. People will deny it, but there was a time where people were kind of wanting him out.
the Knicks trade that didn't happen.
And they were
man.
lumping him in with DeMar about playoff failures.
hear
And I
that.
will say, I always said he's not an issue.
Yeah.
He's not an issue. Don't lump him in with the rest of the failures because he just needs the right guys around him.
Yep.
And thank God it bore fruit when they won the title.
The lowest moment, I think, was that
Wizards?
Washington
Yeah, the
series
Wizards,
where
for
they got
sure.
swept, and then he fouled out like pretty early in the
It
game.
was bad.
And Bradley
It was-
Beal
yeah.
was like mocking him too. Like
the end of that Nets series
infuriating.
too, the first run where like it was Game 7 and he kind of just fell
Yeah.
and threw like a
Yeah.
floater up that was tough too. But hey man, you can't win without the scars of those losses,
Yeah,
right? And that builds character, and
and
all those did.
he was also in those first years with DeMar, like he was miscast as a 1A, 1B scorer when on a championship team he was never going to be that kind of guy. But you know, elite defensively, playmaker as a leader,
The IQ,
3-point
the
shooter,
IQ.
and once you put him around an alpha like Kawhi and Siakam as a scorer, you win the championship.
So underrated though. And I think there was a story when Gasol got traded, they were like amazed at how smart he was defensively. When you have a mind of Kawhi, a mind of Lowry, and a mind of Marc Gasol, And even Ibaka too. The
Danny
things
Green.
that team did defensively
Yeah,
was
man.
just oh,
and
identity.
unscripted, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times it wouldn't even be. Nurse was basically saying these guys can kind of freelance a
Yeah.
bit because they all know the game so well that I'm not going to drill them down on having to do something.
Infamous boxing one in the finals.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even practice.
Janky D.
It wasn't even practice.
Yeah.
And these guys just put it together mentally. And Kyle's defense, tenacity, greatest Raptor of all time. It's not particularly close. I'm willing to argue anyone who says anyone else.
You got him over
I think-
RJ?
How dare you?
Get out of here with this Vince Carter nonsense,
Oh,
all right?
no
one
real
does. I
Raptor-
don't think
get me
anybody
started.
does.
No real
Nobody
Raptor
does.
fan will
No,
say
a
Vince.
lot of them
Come
do.
on.
Are you
No,
joking?
seriously.
A lot of them do.
I've seen people say DeRozan just because like this.
Come
no,
on,
no, no,
man.
dude.
Come
I'm
on,
not.
come
I think
on.
it's ludicrous.
All right, let's move on.
No. I'm saying
Sources say, come on, let's
Hold
not.
on.
Let's not, man.
people in the city were upset when DeRozan got traded for Kawhi. He had a stranglehold on the city. That's all I'm saying.
All right, what'd you say about Raptors fans before we started, Aaron?
I said I love Raptors fans.
There you go.
Okay,
There you go.
from one former disgruntled Grizzly to another.
Whoa.
I got a question for all three of you. Who will have a better trade return? What the Hawks got for Trae Young, or what the Grizzlies get for Ja Morant?
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Good job.
I mean, how
Grizzlies.
much lower can you get?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
How much-
Grizz.
like, they took expiring contracts for trade.
I think-
Not even a pick.
But is there even a market for Ja?
Not really.
I think
really.
I would say there are more desperate teams who think Ja can impact them. Like his athleticism, while I granted diminishing, I get that. I think Ja, we've seen him kind of excel at the highest.
But he ain't that guy. That's 3 years ago's Ja.
I understand that, but I think teams are willing to take a flyer on Ja in particular. You can sell me on Ja more than you can Trae, because I do think he can play better defense than Trae. He can get to the rim.
But what about the shooting and the fit?
So
At least Trae
shooting's
fits.
been bad.
Can I give you? I was listening to Zach Lowe yesterday, and he had Richard Jefferson on, and he made a good comparison. He's kind of in the Vince Carter at the end of his Raptors tenure.
Yes.
Where it looks like the athleticism's kind of going. He's injured. He looks unmotivated, but maybe a change of scenery invigorates him. Because what is he, 26?
Yes.
Yep.
So there is that kind of. I think that was a good comparison because it's maybe a change of scenery, a new coach, a breath of fresh air. You get a couple years out of him. I personally don't know if I buy that, but I there is a historical precedent of you where you could talk yourself into it.
And Vince had really good years of the Nets after
That's
the
what I
Raptors.
mean.
So it's So I agree with that. I do think that the Grizzlies situation has run its course. You know, infighting with the coach, all the off the court stuff, fresh scenery with a good embedded culture. I think you get more out of Ja than you would someone like Trae, who just capsizes your defense.
But how hasn't I agree with you on the Trae point. It's the shooting that worries me. And when the athleticism isn't there, it's like, what exactly are you? And there's been a lot of injuries that maybe that athleticism might not be coming back because
sure.
of those injuries.
I don't think the athleticism is fully gone.
I
think
don't
It's
feel
definitely
that at all.
diminished.
It's diminished. Yes, it has diminished. The shooting is a problem. That's from three. You're talking about three-point shooting. I think, to me, he can still get to where he wants on the floor. And it's just, if you have the right cast of characters around him, guys who can space the floor, I think he's a threat.
For the Raptors, it makes no sense, right?
Come on,
like no, I'm just
let's get to
Ja
it.
to Toronto does. There's no reason you
Okay,
would
hold
be
on.
looking
I'll play devil's advocate.
Sure.
If it's just quickly.
quickly.
Quickly
does
and
it
not-
sound?
You need Ochai
Okay, so
in there.
so
Yeah.
quickly and Ochai for Ja straight up.
Yeah, and let's just say we
I would
we
do
can
that.
argue
I mean,
draft,
I would do that.
draft capital. Let's remove that from the equation. Would you do it?
Yeah, I would do that. I would do those two.
I would
for
do
that.
it.
With
Yeah.
no
I would do
picks.
No picks
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
the
But,
Remove-
okay, so now we're talking about a team that lacks shooting already,
Yes.
and you're adding Ja for quickly. Like
That's right.
You have no 3-point shooting at this point.
Well, I mean, one of the things too is like, what's one of the challenges for the Raptors outside of RJ Barrett getting to the rim? No one's really
Ja
getting
would-
to the
Ja would
rim.
do that.
Like, when's the last time you seen IQ on a drive get all the way to the rim?
Yo, you got us bought in.
Never, not often, man.
Basically never, right?
Yeah.
So like to have a
Yeah.
guy like Ja, like he does make easier shots for everybody else around him because of the pressure you can put on the rim.
If you want him to thrive in Toronto in this hypothetical situation, you would need to trade Jakob Poeltl for a stretch five. It's the only way it would work.
for sure.
It's the only
Yeah.
way it would work.
Yeah.
Time now for our favorite recurring segment, and this guy's giving us gold every single week.
Reliable.
It's the Mazz Minute. Okay, Connor, let's rack this up because Mazz press conference once again. Let's hear what Mazz had to say, and it was only 2 words.
Joe, give yourselves a chance to win, I guess. Take us through the last couple of sessions.
Illegal screen.
What'd you say?
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
Illegal screen.
What fell apart to get you guys behind, and then how were you able to get back?
Illegal screen.
Okay, Hambone, your thoughts on that?
Illegal screen.
Yeah. Joe Mazz. Can always rely on him.
I mean, he's right.
Yes.
It was an illegal screen, and Joe Mazz, speak your truths, man. Don't let anybody put you in a box.
Hold on. Wait, sorry, you were saying something?
Illegal screen.
Is there a way we can talk to the FanDuel traders and give us a number on the number of Joe Mazz Minute segments we get each week? Because I think we can. He's giving us gold to give us a segment a week, and if FanDuel wants to price that like plus 250, oh, I would hammer that.
Is there any chance we can get him on the show at some
Oh
point?
my God.
Can we
Oh,
look into
dream.
that?
The
Hambone,
dream.
start making some calls, man. Let's try.
Yeah, name dropping, man. Let's go.
Illegal screen.
Well, can you can talk to DeMar, your scrum buddy. You can ask Leo. Like, you got to have some connect.
Illegal screen. I'm going to do the bit.
That's it for us. This is Basketball Island. You can catch us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.
Illegal screen.